I'm Ilana Epstein, and I am the Rebbetzen at Cockfosters and Southgate Shul. I'm also one of the educators at the United Synagogues Department of Living and Learning. And today is actually the best day of the year. We're going to be making cheesecake. So Shavuot is coming up, and every Jewish holiday is actually accompanied by a different food, and it doesn't take much to figure out that Shavuot is my favorite holiday because we get to eat cheesecake. And today, I want to show you how to make a classic New York cheesecake, one of my very favorites, not least of all because I'm from New York. I'm going to take you over here. This is a springform tin, so loose bottom, and the rim opens and closes. So usually you would put the dipped end inside like so, kind of pop it in. But the trick I found out rather recently is that if you turn it upside down and you put a piece of paper above it, the cake will actually come away from the base so much easier. Now the trick here is to actually get it in to all the ridges just right. There we go. Not perfect yet. Give me a sec. This looks just as difficult as it is. Okay, we're in. What I forgot to mention before I started this, and my ineptitude at putting my tin together, is that I had the most amazing experience. I got to train and qualify as a pastry chef in Israel not too long ago. There we go, we're set. I have my tin, and you can see that it's kind of deeper at the bottom than it is on top, which will actually make for a nicer looking cheesecake. I'm gonna put my springform on a baking sheet because cheesecakes do tend to leak. All right, moving right along. This is my cookie base for the cheesecake. You can use digestives, you can use graham crackers. I'm using lotus biscuits right here. If you haven't tasted a lotus biscuit, have one. All right, 250 grams of crushed biscuit crumbs, 75 grams of melted butter. Just mix it all in, and you'll get a crummy, sandy type of consistency. Don't worry too much if you think it's not going to come together. It will. Give it a good stir. And I'm going to pour all this crumb, even though you may think it's too much, into my base. Using your spoon, kind of level it off. I then like using the base of a measuring cup to kind of push it and tightly pack it in. We're going. The next little tip I have from you, and it's only a tip if you're kind of a perfectionist like me, is to use the back of your spoon to level it out. You may want to come closer. So you'll see it's nice and leveled inside, and the spoon also helps you pack it down even further. All right, our base is ready. You're going to want to pop this into the fridge for it to set up nice and firm. Now on to the real part of the cheesecake, which is the filling. I have here 680 grams of American-style cream cheese. And the American-style one, you'll notice, comes in blocks. It's kind of solid. It's so important that this be at room temperature before you start. I'm going to use my hands. Prepare yourselves. So I'm going to put all of this in a food processor. You can use a mixer if you want. You can use a handheld whisk. You can even use a wooden spoon. I'm just going to be lazy about it. I have 150 grams of caster sugar, 20 grams of flour, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and cream cheese does so well with a bit of acid in it. So I'm gonna use the rind of a lemon. This is called a microplane grater. If you don't have one, get one. They're incredible. You just go over the lemon. It will take off just the very top, the yellow bit that gives all the flavor. If you get to the white, stop. All right, the white part is a bit more bitter than the yellow. I've now collected about a teaspoon worth of the rind of my lemon. I'm going to put that in. And I'm going to process until completely smooth. This may take a while. So let it go. Don't worry. As soon as it's absolutely smooth, we're going to stop the machine and we're almost done. How exciting is that? Again, if you don't have a processor, use a machine, use your hands. Anything works. I recently heard someone say that to make a baked cheesecake, it's like looking after a baby. None of my babies were this easy to look after. So this is in fact easier, and the results are absolutely delicious. I'm almost done. It's nearly smooth. In about 4 seconds, I'm going to stop this. 3, 2, 1. Nope, live. 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right, come on in. See that creamy, gorgeous cheese there? That's what you're after. Then, all at once, I'm going to add 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. I checked them beforehand to make sure there were no blood spots, as well as 60 milliliters or a 1/4 cup of whole milk. I'm going to put the top back onto my machine and process again until it just gets mixed. I don't want to add too much air into the mixture now because I want my cake to be creamy and dense. The more you beat the eggs, the more air you're going to incorporate. We're done. Come on in again. I'm going to use my spatula to get everything off the sides, and I'm going to mix the rest by hand, again trying to incorporate as little air as possible. All right, we're going to take the machine off, and all of this cheesy goodness is going to go into your cake. All right, here we go. Give it another good mix. Don't worry too much if you feel that it's not perfectly blended. All the cheese is going to melt in the oven and come together just right. Now, I'm sure you've seen other cheesecake mixtures which are a lot more liquidy. I like a little more solid because, again, I wanted to set up nice and creamy. I'm going to pour it all into my base. And here we go. Nearly done. I want to actually make sure that I get rid of all the air pockets, so I'm going to tap it down a few times on the counter, and all the air has come out. I'm going to set my oven for 160 degrees Celsius, which I think is 310 Fahrenheit, gas mark 2.5, and I'm going to put it in the oven for at least an hour. The way to check if your cheesecake is done is if it still has a little bit of a jiggle in the center. After an hour, check your cake. If it's got that drop of a jiggle, turn off the oven, but let the cheesecake cool in the oven for an hour. Since I turned off the oven and let the cheesecake cool in the oven with the door propped just a bit open, what this prevents is the top of the cake from cracking. So out comes my cake. Oh, it's gorgeous. And you'll see it pulled a little bit away from the sides, and I'm gonna pop my spring form open. And as if by magic, a cheesecake appeared. Now remember when we put the paper on upside down on the little base, so if you can tell, my cake and my base came apart. What I have here is a little 8 centimeter disc. I'm gonna put my cake on it. And there we go. New York cheesecake all ready for Shavuot. But this wouldn't be a real cheesecake if we didn't have a taste. Let's see how it goes. Using a nice sharp knife, and the colder the cheesecake is, the easier it is to slice. Take a piece of cheesecake. That is an incredibly generous piece, and I'm feeling a bit greedy. And there we go. New York cheesecake. Come in closer. Let's center it, and let's have a taste. It's perfect. Have a wonderful Yom Tov, and enjoy cheesecake making. See you soon.